All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first edition of WHHS Channel 96 Sports. This is high school football, ladies and gentlemen, and for tonight's contest, we have your Harvey Red Raiders taking on the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs.
I'm Logan Repko.
And I'm Tyler Camiotti.
And the kick is off. That'll be 33. Takes the kick.
And he's brought down.
And so as we are underway, it's took up 6 seconds. 11:54 remains on the clock. And again, it's the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs facing your Harvey Red Raiders.
That was Justin Williams for the Bulldogs to return.
So now a defense that's mixed with some youngsters and some veterans takes the field. There's as usual, there's a lot of questions about this Harvey team, but they have the speed and they do have some athleticism this year. So it should be interesting how they match up. Definitely,
the Raiders coaches feel they're in much better shape than in years past. A lot better size and just overall athleticism. They've put in some very hard work over the summer, and they went to camp at Edinburgh. And that's, it's all prepared them, even if it's just been a little bit, it's prepared them that much more for season play.
And the quarterback for the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs taking that first snap was Kevin Albert. He handed off to, I believe that was Kyle Smeedy, number 3, for a 2-yard gain. So now it's 2nd and 8, 11:25 on the clock.
Ball on the 47 yards, 47.
That handoff went to number 42. That'll be Matt Kohuth, and he makes a pretty decent gain for 4. So now it's 3rd and 4. 11:06 remains in the first quarter.
Harvey has several very skilled seniors this year. One of them, Andre Smith. For those of you who read the News Herald this morning, Andre was labeled as really the player to watch on the Red Raiders. He's played varsity. This is, I believe, his 3rd year playing varsity.
And as you just saw, that was a shotgun attempt missed by number 10. So that'll be a 12-yard loss. 4th down and 16 now to go. Yeah, that's right. The Raiders have not selected the captain to this point.
Right.
But Andre Smith, a lot of people feel, is one of the real leaders of the team.
Right.
And,
we've also got Joe Howard. And Joe, if he gets the ball and he's running with it, there's really no stopping him. People are just awed at the way this kid can move.
Not as much varsity experience. And number 10, Kevin Albert, the quarterback, will punt.
And ball will stop just inside the 20.
And that'll be Joe Howard just electing not even to touch it. That's a smart move since he couldn't get to it. And as you said, his blazing speed is the reason that they have him out returning kicks.
So now the Raiders will have their first-handed offense, 1st and 10 on the 20.
Piloted by young Mick Mockner, the starting quarterback.
Right. Well, there was an interesting race going on up through just, in the past few days, I'd say, for who was going to be the quarterback. It was between Mockner, John Rowan, and Matt Hill, and coaches opted to go with Mockner this year.
Or at least for this game.
Well, at least for this game. Hill and Rowan, both very skilled at other positions. Mockner just has an arm like you wouldn't believe. Hopefully we'll get to see some of that. So it was a pretty good choice to go with Mockner.
Yeah, of course, all the quarterbacks had their own virtues, but the team did elect to go with Mockner, and so he's the leader. That handoff went to number 31. That was Nate Dent for the first carry of the season. 4-yard gain on the play, so that'll be moving the ball for the Raiders. Seems like there's always been a quarter. I'll get back to that in a second, as Mick Mockner is under center right now. Handoff goes again, and number 31, Nate Dent, who kicks it outside. He's pushed a little bit upfield, but mostly strung out by the Cortland defense, a slew of defenders. 9:02 remains in the clock as it continues to run. 3rd down and 6, no gain on the play for Dent. Again, as I was saying, the Raiders seem to have had a lot of quarterback controversy in recent years, ever since before Tim LeMaisny moved to Madison.
Right, yeah. The Raiders last year, of course, we had James Bubba Jarvis, who had a fairly successful season, and it just seems like this year, we've got Mockner, who's starting out the season. He's only a sophomore this year, so if we could keep Mockner in at quarterback, he's still got 2 more years after this season. Pass incomplete over to number 7. That's Matt Hill.
So showing a pretty impressive arm, but not very well advised. He was into a lot of traffic on that one.
Right.
Matt Hill, of course, has good hands. That's another consideration why they chose to play Mockner instead of Hill. And that'll be, I believe, number 18. I'm sorry, number 8. I will get a read on that in just a second. He's not listed in the roster.
That's number 88, Ian King.
Right you are, Tyler, and my mistake. Who's been the punter for a while,
right.
And he's got a pretty good leg. So neither team has done much in their first possession. 8:09 the clock is stopped with. And it's 1st and 10 for the Cortland in Harvey field position.
So no, this not even 4 minutes into the ball game, and we haven't seen any spectacular offensive runs. Probably some good defense. Handoff from the Portland quarterback. Number 28 is brought down. That is number 28 is Brent Sosi.
And that'll be a sizable gain. Pickup of 6. Time continues to run. It's 7:52 now remaining in the first quarter. Red Raiders will continue to use 5 down line, excuse me.
And ball going up the middle. Got to stop him. Finally, they bring him down at about the 25.
That was number 42, Matt Cahoot. Returning letterman, of course, as they have many on this Cortland Lakeview team.
Right, yeah. Cahoot listed at 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's a senior this year.
So he stacks up pretty favorably against Andre Smith. They're both about the same height and weight.
Right. And another take up the middle. So, it could be Cortland's strategy. Just keep pounding them up the middle. And so far, it's worked 2 consecutive plays. They've had decent gains.
Well, that's been the knock against the Raiders for a couple of years, is that they're not as big or as physical as a lot of other teams. But this year, they do have a couple big guys plugging up the middle. Chaz Deering, Andre Smith. They both spend a lot of time in the weight room, and they both have a lot of varsity experience. Mike Smith, another player that's bigger and more physical. So the Raiders aren't as small as they have been. Meanwhile, another fairly sizable gain goes down. It's now 3rd down and 5. 6:25 remaining on the clock.
Tonight is the alumni game, first game of the season, and we've got several alumni in the stands, along with the alumni band. So they will be performing their traditional halftime show.
A lot of fans excited to see that.
Definitely.
Brings out a couple more.
The Harvey High School band under new direction this year, Mr. Elijah Vasquez. He's a Harvey alumni himself, so it's got to be something for him.
And the Cortland Lakeview drive does stall. It's at around the 17, 18-yard line. And I'm pretty sure they'll go for it. You won't see a lot of guys kicking field goals, especially because false start was just called. So that'll actually make it 3rd down and 10 now.
Right. Speaking of teams not often kicking the ball, we do have Nick Hilborn this year. He kicked for us last year. He's been plagued by ankle injuries, had a little bit of a scare earlier this summer. Thought he may have injured his ankle fairly severely. It turned out to be not nearly as bad as anyone thought. And he has been practicing his field goals and extra points. So it's not very likely that we'll see him going for the field goals and extra points, but we've still got Hilborn.
Shotgun formation by Cortland. almost turned into disaster as they had pressure, and it looks like we're going to get a late hit call on number 43, Andre Smith. At least that's what it looked like initially as we saw the quarterback go down in the backfield. So there might be new birth for the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs. Raiders did have pressure from, I believe, number 42. That's
Matt Kohuth.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Trenton
Rothschild.
Yeah. And I think Andre Smith was in on that as well. And I think after the play, he might have gone a couple steps too far and hit the quarterback late. So now time is stopped with 5:14, and it looks like Cortland will probably be getting a first down. And that indeed will be the call. Not an encouraging sign from one of your leaders that you want to see right off the bat, but that's how things tend to go sometimes. So now the Raiders just got to buckle down again and get it done.
So we're looking at 1st and 10 on the 12-yard line.
And play.
And going up the far side of the field. Draws near to the goal line, just a few yards short.
He's been carrying out that fake the whole drive, and he finally held on to it and turned into a sizable an 11-yard gain. And so now it's 1st and goal from the 1-yard line for Cortland. They're looking to score early on, midway through the first quarter. 4:36 now.
Runner brought down by Tyrell Hurd, who the News Herald says is Harvey's best tackler this season.
Meanwhile, 6 points is scored by Cortland Lakeview. The runner will have been Matt Kohuth, number 42.
Kohuth really seems like their go-to guy tonight. He's pounded us up the middle, and there he goes, bringing it into the end zone. So if there's some way that the Raiders can maybe rework their defense to focus on stopping him, or if there's any way that they can slow him down, that would definitely be to their advantage.
They'll kick for 1.
A whistle blown.
And we will have false start. I don't know how much that'll play into their kicking strategy. Usually you can make these fairly easily. So they'll kick again. Their quarterback, Kevin Albert, will be holding.
And kick is blocked. So a very nice move by the Harvey Red Raiders. Big play right there. Keeping the Bulldogs to just 6 points on the play.
And you cannot underestimate these extra points. How many games have we seen the Raiders lose because of extra points? 16 to 14,
right.
15 to 13. Scores like that will kill you. And Red Raiders, those extra points are really big, and they came through on that one after getting helped out by the Bulldogs, of course.
Bulldogs, even though they're so far away, Cortland, I think, is somewhere down near Youngstown, south of here.
Sure.
Anyway, a little bit of a rivalry. This is, I believe, the 3rd year that the Raiders have played them in football, and I think they've lost the 2 previous games.
Yeah.
We just, in basketball, played Lakeview in the district finals. And there was already, just in the 2 years of playing football, there was already some chance coming from Lakeview, and of course the Harvey Red Raiders were just dominating late in the game, and they were wishing that they could be playing football. But this year the Raiders football team definitely looked to turn things around on the gridiron and just take everything away from them.
Thus far, though, it hasn't looked bright. The Raiders are down 6-0, 4:23 remaining in the first quarter, but they're tenacious and they're young, so we'll look for them to strike back on this possession.
And kick is over the head of number 10, David Alston.
So that'll be the ball come out to the 20, and Mick Mockner again set to lead his team.
I don't know, did Mockner dress varsity last year, or was he just freshman JV?
I honestly don't know. He wasn't on the radars very much last year, but you know, you had a lot of seniors leaving, Baba and a couple, you know, Andrew Booth and Morgan Lewis, even though he didn't play, you know, a lot of big playmakers right there.
Right. And pass through the hands of
number 82,
like number 82,
Alex Delamont. Last year, one of the surprise sure-handed receivers that were on the team. I remember back when I played with him, he was pretty much my go-to guy.
Right.
That's
right. Logan, you had your days at quarterback back in our middle school days.
That's so long ago, Tom. Yeah, but surprising to see Alex Delamont drop that ball. 2nd and 10, however, and Red Raiders will line up again on the 20-yard line. Mockner under center. Set to take the snap from Zach McKnight, I believe. Andre Smith plows it through the middle and turns it up for about a 3-yard gain. 3rd down and 7 now.
Smith, a two-way starter.
Yeah, he's going to be big for the Raiders this year if they're going to have success. 3rd down and 8 is the official ruling. 3 minutes and 48 seconds now on the clock. And look for them to pass, of course. Trips left for the Red Raiders. Setting number 7, Matt Hill in motion.
And Mockner gets sacked.
And I don't think he saw that one coming, but there was pressure, and it was right in front of him. I think that's something that experience will maybe help him out. He should have been scrambling a little bit, but not a lot you can do. It didn't look like anyone was open either.
Yeah. It's kind of a situation that you just don't want to be in.
And so Ian King back against the front of his end zone will be forced to kick. And again, Cortland will have the ball inside Raider territory.
King obviously been practicing his punting and has improved a bit since last year. That fairly shallow.
Not a terribly impressive kick right there. Cortland Lakeview will get the ball on around Red Raider 32-yard line with 2 minutes and 51 seconds still in the first quarter. So they have a chance to strike again and improve their lead in just this first quarter.
Bulldogs in very good field position. If they can pound the ball up the middle like they've been doing and come through with a few big runs.
Trips left for the Bulldogs, and looks like an offsides on the Raiders.
And there's another touchdown for the Bulldogs. 1 play, 6 points.
Nice timing pattern to Michael Brownig, and Red Raiders looked flat-footed and very unready for that play right there. They just broke through the secondary, and an easy score, really.
Nobody touched him the whole way to the goal line.
The refs are conferring. I believe that will be an offsides against the Red Raiders, but might be coming back. So as the Raiders confer, the players waiting anxiously to see what will be the outcome. 2 minutes and 45 seconds officially on the clock. And I'm not really sure what is taking this conference so long, but it looks like, wow, it will be going against Cortland from the way the players are moving. That will be encroachment on the defense. since it was before the snap. That ends up
touchdown's being called back.
Yeah.
Very lucky break for the Raiders. Chance at redemption. Raiders still in a pretty poor field condition, as we saw there. Without that penalty, Cortland's got an easy 6 more points.
Red Raiders, again, they lost a couple of big players for them last year. So, I mean, Andrew Booth is big for them in the secondary, and they don't have that. So, you know, you're going to see a little bit of this, I think. But hopefully they can just battle back right here and not give up any points after this windfall. And that'll be a false start.
False start on number 71. It's Adam Lindsay, the 6', 240-pound sophomore. So maybe a few first game jitters for the sophomore.
Well, all in all, the Raiders came out of that one smelling like roses. They gave up a touchdown, and they were offsides on the same play. And after a false start, they've only given up 5 yards. Handoff goes to number 29. That's Brad Davenport, and he's breaking it upfield. He picks it outside. He's going to the 20, the 10, and he's finally dragged down by number 24.
Tyrell Hurd.
So right now, Raiders do not have an antidote for what Cortland Lakeview is bringing. They're just driving at will pretty much at this point. They are on the 5-yard line with first down and goal.
.236 left on the clock.
Not too much subtle about that one. Just little count or a little 3-yard handoff to the right side.
Ball on the 2-yard line.
And an official timeout. Andre Smith is hobbling, but he's walking. However, his knees have been bad for a while, so this might be a problem for the Raiders. I know that every time you saw him holding his knees during baseball, that wasn't a good sign. And he'll be helped off the field.
Being helped off the field, yeah. Obviously a pretty hard blow for the Raiders right now. We will see what we can find out about the condition of Andre Smith and keep you updated. Definitely a player that we would hate to see be out for more than a few plays, but the way he's walking right now, I'm not really sure. Maybe they can get him taped up and stretched out a little bit, and that'll help. Plays continuing on the field.
Kohu tried to roll over the pile, but I believe they'll say that the Raiders stopped him. So 3rd down, gain of 1, so 3rd and goal now. Time continues to tick down, 1:46. John Rowan was the head stopper on that play. Players trying to communicate for the play right there. That's number 9. John Rowan getting the signals, and it looks like a timeout. It's called by the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs.
Smith is currently lying down on the sideline, being looked at by the trainer.
In your screen, you have a view of players being helped by our water girls. I believe that's Susie Lesko. And I thought there were 2 of them, but I don't see the other one. Oh, she was just surrounded by big guys. don't know who that is as soon as I find out who
as
that
soon
is.
as we, that's Jenna Farron, ladies and gentlemen, wearing number 1. Number 1 was, of course, Jamie Farron, her brother's number. Jamie is now in his 2nd year out of high school, I think.
They're down and goal now from the 1-yard line. Raiders looking to hang tough. Cortland Lakeview, who's had their way for most of this first quarter, looking to score. Trips left. Red Raiders going to put 5 men on the line as they have for most of this game. They're stacking the linebackers in the middle, of course. Touchdown signal.
Touchdown.
And it's now 12-0. Cortland Lakeview will most likely go for 2.
So the Raiders yet to have possession on Cortland's half of the field.
Not a lot you can say about the Raiders right now at this point, except for Andre Smith going down. We'll just hope that they can hold another conversion attempt.
Smith's still being looked at by the trainers.
Play action fake.
And wide open. Pass completed.
Yeah, they bit hard on it. It wasn't even that pretty of a fake. 33 Justin Williams hauls it in from, of course, number 10 Kevin Albert.
So the 2-point conversion is good. The Bulldogs are up 14-0. 1:29 left here in the first quarter at Jack Britt Memorial Stadium. So the Bulldogs prevail on the play. They had a touchdown called back, but they made things happen and still got their 8 points on the play.
That's right. And number 24, that's Joe Howard, and number 10, David Alston, back to receive. I'm sorry, number 24 is Tyrell Hurd. They're back to return.
Joe Howard on the sidelines right now. Someone that I would expect to be returning, but Alston has been very diligent in his football. It's been his focus. He's carried a football around with him in school all the time. I've never seen David Alston without a football since last season.
And that kick will go out of bounds, so there's a penalty for the Raiders. They'll get decent field position. Still doesn't salve the wound of their 14-0 deficit, but they have a good place to start from. Yeah, going back to David Alston, he is very dedicated. He is always looking at football and talking about how he wants to continue football after high school. So good luck to him, I guess.
I heard David talking with our new principal, I believe he was talking to today. At the high school, we have some new administration. We have a new assistant principal, Miss Melissa DeAngelis, and a new principal, Miss Kimberly Martin.
Number 51, I'm sorry, I announced it was Zach McKnight. That's Ryan Mannery, snaps to Mockner, who hands off to number 44. That'll be Mark Irvin, kicking it up for a couple of yards. It's now second down and about 8. 1:19 remaining in the first quarter. Tyrell Hurd bringing the play in. Mick Mockner will stand in front of his team and try and get something going.
Bulldogs covering deep, looking to cut out the passing. Flag is down.
It looks like a delay of game to me. And it is second down and 13 now as the 5-yard penalty is assessed. The Raiders came out in the I formation. Let's see if that new field position changes anything.
So now rather than being 2nd and 8, the Raiders are 2nd and 13. Under a half a minute left in the first quarter. Mockner's hit again, and he's brought down at the 25. Second time Mockner's been sacked tonight.
Yeah, that's right. That's tough rolling out left, and he tried to stay and plant his feet. I think in the days of maybe Tony Herron, we would have seen him keep scrambling to the left a little bit, but that's kind of a hard throw to make coming across your body. And I'm sure Mick Mockner feels more comfortable throwing stationary.
Something that will come with time if he puts the work in.
3rd down and 20. As the first quarter comes to an end, the Raiders are down 14-0. Tyler, if we've been keeping a couple of stats on this, if you want to run down any notables from our team, notice, of course, there's not been too much for the Raiders to say, but
just had a few small yards gained by just really 3 players: Nate Dent, Andre Smith, and Mark Irvin. Smith and Irvin have run for 2. Nate Dent ran for 3. Mockner has yet to complete a pass.
He hasn't thrown that many. It's really been about the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs. We have a number of tackles, though. John Rowan, Nate Dent, and Tyrell Hurd all have 3.
Wind starting to kick up down here at Jack Britt Memorial Stadium, down in the valley of Painesville City.
And I'm always impressed by the turnout we get from the fans. You know, this team last year didn't have a winning record, and you know, we're young this year, but fans always come out and support the team. Always expect to see us win, and they just really bring something extra to the team.
It's kind of the place to be on a Friday night. Not much else going on other than high school football. Why not support your team?
Absolutely. Mockner rolling out right now. Pass goes to number 82, Alex Delamont.
Completed to Delamont. Knocked out of bounds on the 35. So the first completion of the night. Very significant gain of yards.
It'll still be 4th down and 11 now. So Ian King will come out to punt. He will be able to punt into Cortland Lakeview territory for the first time tonight, though. So that's encouraging, at least from a field position standpoint. Still not going to get great against field position, though. You know, Cortland's still going to have pretty good position when they get the ball.
And it's hauled in
by
David Alston on about the 34.
So net of 35 yards or so. Handoff goes to number 28, Brett Sosi. Not much going on right there. Red Raiders stopping pretty cold. 2nd down and 10 now. 11:02 remaining in the second quarter. Johnny Rowan again getting signals. He looks like he's kind of the leader of the team, even though, again, as I said, they don't have captains. They looks like he's kind of calling the shots for the defense. The big man in your screen that you see right there is Ali Robertson. He hasn't played for a couple of years, but they've been after him. It looks like they finally got to him.
And pass incomplete, intended for number 20, Ryan Noss.
So Kevin Albert hasn't really had too many completions himself. There was the one big game that got called back, but other than that, not much going on for Cortland, passing-wise either.
Really only one that's sticking out of my mind when they scored the 2 points.
Yeah.
After their second touchdown.
Of course, they don't need to pass when they're just running through us. But
Albert going to the air. It's deep. And broken up by Joe Howard, I think.
Yeah, good tenacity by Joe Howard right there by staying with the ball, even though he was beat. And, you know, of course, that was a little bit in the throw by Kevin Albert. You know, if he would have made the perfect throw that you wanted to, the receiver would have been gone. But Joe Howard stuck with the play, and in that case, something good came out of it. So Cortland will be forced to punt. Joe Howard back to return. Favorable bounce for the Red Raiders to get the ball around the 45, and they'll have their first chance to move into Bulldog territory.
Andre Smith still lying down on the sideline.
Yeah, it looks like the team may have to push on without him for this game.
Yeah, looking pretty distressed.
Yeah, trips right for the Raiders as we get back into the game. Mick Mockner calling the signals. He's under center, and he'll look right to pass. Gets it off under pressure, and again, it goes through Alex Delamont's hands. I do not know, not encouraging.
What's happening? Really, Delamont seemed last year was just hauling everything in. If it was near him, he was, sacrificing.
And he's
everything.
Pretty tough too. Not a good sign that two of the team leaders two of the contributors for this year, Alex Delamont and Andre Smith, both came up with pretty big mistakes. Andre Smith with the late hit, and of course now he's injured. Alex Delamont dropping 2 balls. Again, Mockner looks right, pressure. He's going to have a hard time getting out of this one.
And he's sacked for the 3rd time tonight, brought down at the 30.
Hauled down for a huge loss by number 10, the quarterback for the opposing team, Kevin Albert.
Raiders down 14-0, 9:50 left in the first half.
That was a 10-yard loss officially. So it's 3rd down and 20 now.
So when the Raiders get a break with pretty good field position off of the kick, it's just not able to hold on to it.
High right for the Red Raiders on the small side of the field. They're still looking right, though. That's downfield.
And Mockner's pass incomplete.
Joe Howard wasn't looking. There was traffic. Not the most best advised of passes, but I think that was a timing route, and if it didn't happen, it just didn't happen. So Ian King is getting a workout tonight. He'll punt for the 5th time. And a very high, very shallow kick. Bounces, takes a Harvey roll to around the 34-yard line for the Cortland Bulldogs. Possession changes with 9:07. Again, your Red Raiders down 14-0.
Ball on the 35.
Kevin Albert brings the play out to his team, and the Red Raiders get set up. They'll go with 3 linemen this time. Blitz coming. Penetrated fairly well by Cortland. Gets a couple-yard gain. 2nd down, and I'll call it 8. Or a long 7, maybe. Time continues to run down. 8:51 remaining on the clock. It's always an advantage if a defense can give offense different looks, but again, it looks like what the Raiders are doing right here. They're trying to blitz a little bit. So far, it hasn't appeared to be too effective. Cortland is still penetrating, but you know, they can't keep going with the old 5 linemen where they're just getting run through. If I had to guess, I'd say that was a hold there, conferring with the Red Raiders. And, well, this is a tough decision. Do you march them back 10 yards or do you take the result of the play? It'll be 3rd down and 8 if they decline it, and it'll be 2nd and 18 if they do take the penalty. Raiders will take the penalty.
Clock stopped at 8:19.
So it will be 2nd down and 13, excuse me. Ian King getting great pressure right there. He was the quarterback was able to find him out, but for very little or no gain. I think we're going to see 3rd down and 15, and nice penetration by Ian King, coming from out of nowhere, pretty much.
Smith with an ice pack on his ankle. It looks like so, not his knees. As Logan mentioned, that had given him problems previously. His ankle.
It's still not too promising.
No.
So Ian King just got some penetration after staying on the line the whole time, and he's getting penetration again. Where's this coming from? Quick kick, wow, by the Cortland Lakeview Bulldogs. Kind of surprising to see that, but
yeah, King with the nice pressure there forces the kick, and much to Cortland's dismay.
I think that was a design play. I think they were intending to kick that.
Well, I mean,
he almost blocked it though.
Right,
yeah.
right. Forced it maybe a little quicker than they were anticipating.
Oh, okay, good save, Tyler.
See, I don't know much about football.
You know enough.
But the little that I do know, I think I know.
You know enough. You've come a long way, and let's get back into the game. McMockner again under center. Looks like they're going to add a tight end and go to the I formation. Joe Howard stopped for no gain. He stopped his feet, started backpedaling, and he was pretty much done at that point. Not a very impressive run right there by Joe Howard. He came pretty much to a complete stop and tried to kick it outside. And even when you're going to kick it outside, you still got to keep moving forward. Joe Howard did not do that, suffered the consequences. 2nd and 11 now, 6:36 remaining in the second quarter. Pitch out to Joe Howard, fumbles the ball.
And he's carried back.
Mark Irvin made a valiant attempt at trying to help him out of that situation, but there was just a swarm of Bulldogs ready to tackle him, so that'll be a huge loss. 9-yard loss, as Joe Howard seems to have caught the fumbleitis that Alex Delamont came down with. The pitch was right there. Really, you can't blame that on anyone but Joe Howard. And so it'll be 3rd down and 20 now. 5:46. And the Red Raiders backpedaling further into their own territory.
pass a little bit low. Hurd not able to haul it in.
Not a terrible pass, though. It still should have been caught. I mean, he did get his hands on it. But, again, it was a little bit behind him. So, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. It looks like the Raiders will punt again. Looks like they have a new punter, though, Mick Mockner. Apparently, they were not satisfied with Ian King, so they're going to let the sophomore get a chance.
Whistle blown. Five minutes, 29 seconds left on the clock.
And a false start will be called against the Raiders, so marching them even further back into their own territory. Oh, I'm sorry, that's 12 men on the field. As you might have heard off of the crowd mic.
And Mockner's forced to scramble.
That might. I'm sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
Take it.
Okay. Well, that might have been a design play, of course, with the quarterback out there on the field. But in any case, not much happening after he dropped the snap.
Right.
So Cortland again will have very great field position. They're on about the 36-yard line, 37-yard line of the Harvey Red Raiders. And with 5:21, ample time, they don't have to really worry about that. Kevin Albert under center. Handoff goes to number 42, who pushes it up for about an 8-yard gain, almost a first down. Albert to Kohuth has pretty much been the story of the game for the Bulldogs and for the Red Raiders, as the Bulldogs continue to move. Raiders really need to get a push up the middle right here.
The ball carrier, tackled by number 9, John Rowan. And number 51, Ryan Mannery.
So a good stop made right there on Sosi by Ryan Mannery and John Rowan. 3rd down and 2 now. Time continues to tick. Cortland doesn't need to worry about it. Still 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Kevin Albert ends up keeping the ball. Does not get the first down though, so they'll have to go for it on 4th down. This is pretty much no man's land as far as high school football goes. It's too far to kick a field goal, too short to punt. Pretty much an automatic go for it right here.
Harvey.
So Mr. John Buskirk striding onto the field to try to spur his team on to a stop right here. This would be big for the Raiders. They really don't want to fall down by 20 or more points going into the half.
Yeah, the Raiders are already down a significant number of points. It's going to take at least 2 big plays to put the Raiders back in this game.
And you can never really underestimate the intangible effects that, you know, something like this will have on a team too. If you make a stop going into the half, even though you're still down 14-0, some players, especially, you know, the younger you are, I mean, I think we're all susceptible to getting caught up, you know, in the emotions of the game. Mm-hmm. And if things are kind of going good, well, maybe things look a little bit brighter for you. And play action pass dumps out, and that'll be a first down.
Completed to number 42, Matt Kohuth.
And he found him right out there in the flats. Not a lot of protection. That's a play that works a lot is because you don't really look for the running back coming out of the backfield as much. Coming off of the play action. 3 minutes and 31 seconds now as Cortland continues to march. They were successful on the conversion. And the Red Raiders again will go with the 3-down lineman. Kohuth, not much there. He'll still pick up a couple though. Officially, they're just giving him half a yard, so second down and still 10. 3:05 remaining in the first quarter. In the first half. And that had to make a little bit of an impression on the Red Raiders right there. Cortland taking the time, getting to the ball, getting to the line. You know, sometimes you'll see teams start rushing when time starts ticking down around 2 minutes. Not a mistake that a lot of the better teams make, but you still see that among some teams. So the Red Raiders taking a break, mulling things over, hoping to make this stop. Contributor that was kind of a surprise to me in this first half, Tyrell Hurd. He was not on my radar coming into the season.
I know very little about Tyrell Hurd, someone that I will be investigating over the next week and learning more about. So by our next broadcast, we will be able to tell you a little bit more about Tyrell Hurd.
Of course, you know, you mostly tend to hear about the upcoming juniors and seniors that have been playing for a while, so we'll get some information on this guy right away and tell you his story. Play action pass, plenty of time, but good pressure finally applied by, that's number 51, Ryan Mannery. I've called his name enough, I should have remembered that, but good pressure right there, and he broke up that play action. So third down and 10, still 14-0. Time, of course, is stopped with 2 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock.
Andre Smith now being helped into the golf cart. He will be driven off the field to possibly go and get some medical attention. They might be able to attend to it in the locker room, but he could be headed up the road to the hospital.
Meanwhile, shotgun was called, and a couple yards were gained by Albert on the keeper. We'll call it 3, so it's now a third down. Third down and 7. Fourth down and 7, excuse me. And I think they're going to be content to just let the clock run down to the 2-minute warning.
Time ticking now down to 1:45.
I'm sorry, I must have forgotten. I've been watching the Browns.
Yeah.
There's no 2-minute warning in high school football. But Cortland does take a timeout with 1 minute 44 seconds. They just let the clock run down as much as they could, pretty much. And it still looks like they're pretty much in no man's land. I don't think we're going to see a kick, though we may. This is a little bit further in. As play gets back underway, Red Raiders will line up, try and make this stop.
Time again stopped with 1:44 on the clock. Raiders down 14-0.
Cortland running out very impressively. They have a purpose and 5 wide receivers, but a penalty is called before the snap. Looks like they're counting players. Also maybe an illegal substitution on somebody's part. We'll wait to see officially from the refs. And they're waving the flag off. Play will resume. Everything's copacetic. And minute 44 still on the clock. 5 wide receivers. Shotgun formation. Might see a little trickery, might see a pass. Good penetration by Manry and number 52. Thrown up out of bounds.
Thrown way out of bounds.
Yeah, no point taking a chance right there. That was Chaz Deering along with Ryan Manry applying the good pressure. They both are seniors this year. And, you know, they'll be really strong competitors. Contributors for the Red Raiders.
.137 on the clock. 1st and 10.
Lochner. I don't know if we're going to see a knee. It looks like they're going to go with something. 2 men out wide right for the Raiders. We'll probably see him pass that way if I had my guess.
Deep pass. Intended for Howard.
Howard a little bit shorter. He couldn't come up with that one. Threw it over his head a little bit. Second down and 10 now. Trips right for the Raiders. Hurd in motion. Now Howard in motion. Roll out left. Mockner looking to pass. He's going to hold on to it, and he'll run out of bounds for a gain of a couple. We'll call it 5. Third down and 5 now. Minute 23 remaining in the half. Again, the score is 14-0 in favor of the Cortland Bulldogs.
Third down and 6.
Under center, looks right. A lot of pressure.
He's through.
And he gains a couple, but in the story of the clock, that'll be kind of big. Raiders not in a hurry to call a timeout, so I think we're just going to see them run down the clock and punt it right here. Mockner again lining up as the punter. We'll see what they're doing. He might just be going in for Ian King. I wouldn't expect him to see a trick play here. And a low liner. It'll take a Raider bounce. So his stat will look very impressive on that punt.
Down at the 26-yard line.
Everyone preparing for halftime. We'll see if the Cortland Bulldogs will just take a knee, or if, I don't know, maybe they'll try something. They've had success so far tonight. Maybe they'll decide to take another shot at us.
Clock now stopped at 31.8 seconds.
And lining up in the knee formation. And so as we go into the half, your Red Raiders trailing 14-0. Cortland Bulldogs really have dominated the first half. I think we're going to see one more snap, and that'll run out the clock.
Time now down to 5. And we are at halftime. Going into the second half. Your
a lot of success tonight. You know, they've had drops, they've had injury, they've had, you know, pretty much everything that could go wrong.
Yeah, it's the wheels kind of fell off there in the first half. They'll look to pick those up in the second half. We're going to take a break and enjoy some halftime shows by these bands. We will be right back.
And we're back. You know, Tyler, early on in the season, it's really possible to experience a lot of early season jitters.
Right.
Mistakes happen. I think our technical crew has definitely experienced a little bit of that. All the pressure of performing at a high level that we're used to. We join you with 8 minutes and 35 seconds in the third quarter. Your Red Raiders still down 14-0.
That's right. The Raiders had their share of jitters in the first half. Now they find themselves, as Logan just said, down 14-0. But, ladies and gentlemen, what you don't know at home is that this is the third time we've tried to bring you back into second half action, and our control room's just letting us down. Plays going on the field.
Partially blocked punt, but still pretty good net yardage.
Right. Clock is now stopped with 8 minutes and 8 seconds left in the third.
Anyway, to quickly summarize what happened, the Raiders got the ball. They didn't do much with it. McMachner had a pretty nice punt. Cortland didn't do anything with it. They partially just got it blocked, and that's where we are at this point. So hopefully our technical crew will put their jitters aside and perform at the high level we're used to them performing at, and hopefully the Raiders will kind of do the same as well.
That's right. Working for us down in the truck, we have our producer, Mr. Ross Grippy, our director, Mr. Kyle Griffith. We have Miss Diana Rostasil, Miss Jacqueline Griffith, and running our camera, we have Mr. Dennis Cap.
So McMachner under center. He hands off to number 15, Joe Howard, up the middle for a couple of yards. Time continues to tick, now under 8 minutes, 7:56, and second down and 8.
Number 3, Kyle Smeedy. Gain of 2 will bring up second down and 8.
So Matt Hill and the surprising Tyrell Hurd check into the game. It looks like Matt Hill's giving the orders out. No, I'm sorry, that is still McMachner.
The Raiders took their share of hits in the first half. I'm not sure which hits hurt the worst. It could have been the 2 touchdowns that Cortland Lakeview scored. It could have been the loss of Andre Smith. Smith went down with an ankle injury. And there we saw a nice drive from Joe Howard.
Yeah. Looked like a pickup of about 6. We'll call it 3rd and 2 now, and 7 minutes and 5 seconds remain in the third quarter.
3rd and 2 it is.
Number 31, Scott Settner. Gain of 6.
Next week, the Raiders travel out to Wycliffe to take on the Blue Devils. And in week 3 of high school football, we will travel across the river to take on our rivals, those Riverside Beavers. It would be huge to go into the Riverside game with 2 victories under the belt. Wycliffe, there's still a chance for that one, but the Raiders are really going to have to turn things around drastically to come away with the W tonight.
They were an underdog coming in. A lot of people would say this is what was expected, but the Raiders are not content just to live with that. Hopefully they can turn around. Joe Howard as we've been speaking, has been showing one of those spurts he showed last year where he's really helping the team move the chains. He's had, I think, 3 carries for about 11 or 12 yards in a row.
Howard brought down at about the 37.
Pickup of 1, second down and 9 now. 5:56 remains as time continues to tick. And the Red Raiders continue to hand off to Joe Howard. He's about the only thing they got going for him right now, so I don't know, expect him to keep going to him, I would think. But I think Cortland's going to catch on pretty soon, so they might, I don't know, they might need to switch something up, a little pass right here. Play action pass. He's going deep. He's got a man. Oh, just
overthrown. Tyrell Hurd going deep. Can't quite get under the pass.
Hurd ran a pretty good route. Mockner threw a pretty good ball, but he didn't get enough air under it, and ultimately, you know, it could have been a big play, but now it's just 3rd down and 9.
And Mockner brought down for the 4th time tonight.
So the Raiders again will probably be looking at a punt situation. They're pretty far back in their own territory. I wouldn't expect to see them go for it, but you know, as time ticks down, things might start getting a little bit desperate. So I don't know. I think we're going to end up seeing one of their tricks sooner or later. Mockner again to punt. He's been pretty impressive, at least as far as punting tonight. And very nearly blocked. The result is about the same, except a great bounce for Harvey.
Yeah.
Nick Mockner kicked it almost straight up in the air. He got it to bounce about 20 yards.
Yeah, very, very fortunate right there. I think the ball went higher than it did down the field.
At least initially. A great bounce, I think, evened it out. Cortland will have the ball on about the 41-yard line. .439 now. Cortland again with good field position and looking to drive. Play action pass. He's got a man.
Oh! Batted down by Tyrell Hurd. Nearly hauled it in. But was there enough to break up the pass.
Yeah, good play by Hurd right there. I think he might be a little disappointed right there because if he catches it, that's 6.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think that if he gets that, there was really no one on that side of the field. I think he definitely could have just streaked down the sideline.
But a good play right there nonetheless.
Definitely. Don't want to knock him at all.
I just know that if I was a player, you know, those are the ones that stick in your mind. But you know what, as a coach, at least he's making the play and he's doing his job. He's been impressive pretty much to me all night.
Cortland hit with a delay of game.
So it'll be 2nd down and 15 now. The Raiders continuing to go with the 3 down linemen. And we'll see where they blitz it from this time, or if they do even blitz. Good tackle by Joe Howard right there. Didn't give him any room to run, just tackled him up. And so that was a pretty nice tackle. 3rd and 9 now. .410
and closing left in the 3rd quarter.
Cortland split out left, excuse me. Evades pressure. He's looking for somewhere to go, but he's
and he's brought down.
Yeah, he was
by number 88, Ian King.
Good job by pretty much the whole defensive line for the Raiders right there. They all surrounded him. Ian King got his second good strong pressure of the night, and he actually got a sack out of that one. So punt formation. Number 10, Calvin Albert, to kick it away. Kick is away. It's a squibber. Goes out of bounds a little bit behind the 40-yard line. We'll call it a 37. 3:01 remains in this third quarter. Your Red Raiders still down 14-0.
There's about 3 minutes and 1 second left in the game. Or I'm sorry, in the third quarter.
Lochner scrambling, rolling out left. He hits his man. That's Joe Howard.
And Joe Howard with a nice run.
I'm sorry, that's David Alston with a nice pickup. And that's really the first significant gain of the night for the Red Raiders.
All right, that must be where all that carrying around of the football pays off.
Well, Mick Mockner,
Mockner had a nice pass. He hit him.
Yeah, he had pressure coming from the right. He had to scramble out left. And, you know, if you have a sophomore quarterback, that's kind of an encouraging sign. Nice gain right there by David Alston after the catch. Handoff goes to Joe Howard. He'll trudge ahead for about 3 yards. 2:24 now remaining in the third quarter. Again, the Red Raiders are still down 14-0. And with the second effort, the Raiders are going to, the referees are going to give him 5. So good game right there for Joe Howard. Lochner under center, the Raiders line up in the eye. And Joe Howard coughs it up.
Ball recovered by number 3, Kyle Smeedy.
So, you know, there's whether that was the quarterback or that was the running back, you can't really tell from this far away. I'm sure that's something that just the coaches will have to address, and, you know, they'll have to keep working on their exchanges. So, again, they kill their momentum. They were driving, and turnover will kill you. First of the night, the Raiders scrambled to get in position on defense as Cortland is a step ahead of them getting ready, but okay, they're ready. Both teams are here, and there's a big gainer up the middle.
Trying to spin out of it, he's brought down. Tyrell Hurd with his 5th tackle of the night.
So a strong 10-yard run right there, finally brought down by Tyrell Hurd. Cortland continues to shave valuable time off the clock. About 13.5 minutes remaining in the game for the Raiders to score at least twice. Good stop right there by the Raider defense. I think one of the first penetrators was Ian King, but the whole defensive line really made the stop. Matt Hill will officially get the tackle. 52 seconds now remaining in this third quarter. Second down and 12. Cortland on their own 41-yard line. And as the Raiders make another stop, the wind is starting to pick up down here in the valley. Things can get a little cold down here. 22 seconds now, 3rd and 11, gain of 1 on that play.
We've been very fortunate with the weather tonight, actually. The forecast was for scattered showers, possibly even a few T-storms. But we've stayed dry this far, as time is about to expire in the third quarter. And that's the end of the third. Raiders still down 14-0. I don't think there have been any points on the board since the first quarter, right? I think Cortland scored both their touchdowns there in the first.
Well, that's the difference between football and baseball. You can just lean on a lead when you get one.
Right.
You know, Cortland hasn't really had to do anything other than that. The Raiders haven't threatened it. Cortland just sitting pretty looking for their first win of the night. I mean, first win of the year. Third and 11, though, and Red Raiders, I'm sure, trying not to let this one get any further away than it is right now. Still trying to stay in the game. You know, as a player, you always think at least that you have a shot to win, or, you know, depending on how far away it is, to be respectable. But at this point, if you're a player, you got to be thinking that you can still make something happen in this game.
Right. I'm reading here in the program that the 2005 motto for the Harvey Red Raider football team is "Empty the Tank." So, I mean, quite obviously, they're not supposed to leave any or take anything with them. They're supposed to leave it all on the field. I think they've been playing pretty hard. It's just a matter of getting things to come together.
Yeah, it's a lot of players around, our coaches around here talk about, you know, not leaving anything on or taking anything with you off the field. It's a point of emphasis, obviously, and coaches always try to get 100% out of their players. Fourth down now as the pass went far wide. Not really much of a chance for anybody to get that. And it looks like Cortland will be punting. Long snap count, and finally the kick. Wow, very nice, very impressive kick. Joe Howard settles under it. He sets to return.
Stumbles.
And whistle's blown. Gets maybe a gain of a yard. So the Raiders start on their own 28-yard line. A lot of field in front of them. And for as long as I can remember, the Raiders have been a big play team. You don't usually see them, you know, grind out too many touchdowns. They tend to live and die by the big 80-yard gainer. At least far back as I can remember. Even though, you know, in the past they've had, like, you know, like Morgan Lewis and Andrew Booth who could get you, you know, possessions, but, you know, it's looking like the Raiders might end up being kind of a big play team this year.
Right, definitely.
Especially if Andre Smith
Smith comes back,
serious.
and that's pass completed. Mockner to Delamont.
So that's the second reception of the night for Delamont. So that'll move the chains. Red Raiders, I just finished saying that they're going to live by the big plays, but they just move the chains right there. Still a big gain, though, 13 yards. Howard and Delamont coming off the field. Howard will come back in. Timeout called by Coach Buskirk. Stops the clock with 11:19. Your Red Raiders still down 14-0. They're on their own 41-yard line.
Another player that's new to seeing a lot of playing time this year is Mason Cummings. He's in his senior year, and he's really just a huge force for the Raiders. Probably their best blocker. He's just a solid guy who can he serves as a wall, really.
Yeah, definitely. He's been clocking a lot of practice time, you know, serving his dues. And now it's his senior year. I guess he's getting a little time to play, so good for Mason. You know, I think that maybe he's one of the players that Raiders are going to need. You know, he's more of a prototypical lineman. He's a little bit bigger. He's not the skinny 180-pound guys we have some years. I think that if, you know, in many cases you need some bigger guys to just push people around on the line. Mockner back to pass, looking for David Alston. Might have been tipped. Can't really tell from this angle, but was in and out of his hands at the very least.
11-14 left in the game. Raiders still down by 14. 2nd and 10.
Yeah. Center looks. Wow, he's rolling out to his left. He has room.
Oh! And pass dropped by number 31, Nate Dent.
Yeah, I think he heard the footsteps right there. You know, if you get a reputation as doing that too much, it's not usually a reputation you like to have.
Right.
You know, he might have been afraid to get a little bit afraid to get hit. I'm not really sure. But, you know, bottom line is he dropped the pass, and so now it's 3rd down and 10. Mockner rolling out left again. He's got a man, number 24. That's Tyrell Hurd. Said his name enough again. I don't know why I haven't got it yet, but Tyrell Hurd, guy that just came out of nowhere, and he's doing kind of big things for the Raiders, at least in this game.
4th and 3 with the ball on the 47.
Just a couple yards shy of midfield. They'll have to get a little bit over the midfield line in order to get the 1st down. Minutes and 29 seconds remain in the game. The Raiders will go for it.
And
Delamont.
They got it. Pass completed to Delamont.
That'll be his 3rd catch of the night. And showing those hands that I talked about, making a nice athletic move to the ball. And, you know, making another possession for the Raiders.
Ball on the opposite 47 now.
Time continues to run down. 10 minutes even right now. As the Raiders still going to the huddle. I suppose they don't feel too much urgency right now, but I'm sure in the next possession we'll see them, you know, playing a little bit more hurry-up offense.
And pass completed to Alston. Alston fighting to stay up. Brought down to the 36.
So a lot of Harvey receivers just coming open on this drive. They're doing very well. Mockner, you know, making good passes, and they continue to move the chains. Another 1st down. Corners are giving quite a bit of room to the Alston and Dent.
And there's another big drive for the Raiders.
That's number 31, Nate Dent. But there's an injury on the Raiders side of the field.
Somebody's Can't tell who that is. Number 52.
That's Chaz
Deering.
So a big, athletic guy. Hasn't seen a whole ton of varsity time, but you know, I think they were really looking for him to contribute this year. We'll hope that this one isn't too serious either. And since during this injury, we'll just take a quick break and get back to you as soon as this is cleared up. And Chaz Deering has just walked off the field under his own power, so nothing too serious right there. First down and 10 for your Raiders. Time will continue to run as they started the clock after the injury. 8:55 now. Your Red Raiders looking to score. They're on about the 25-yard line of the Cortland Bulldogs.
You will be happy to know that that was just a brief scare. Again, Chaz Deering did walk off under his own power, and our technical crew brought us back from that just fine. But right there, the wheels fall off again, and they had a bit of a drive. Interception thrown. Chaz Deering already back into the game.
So another drive for the Red Raiders is short-circuited with the turnover. That'll be their second of the night. Both turnovers have factored pretty hugely. They were driving and they just came to abrupt halts. So that'll be Nick Mockner's first interception of his young varsity career. And Cortland will have the ball on about their own 15-yard line. Looking to pass is number 10. He'll just throw it away. Close enough to somebody, not to be intentional grounding. Matt Kohuth was in the general area. 8:28 now on the clock. Coaching strategy right here. I don't know. I mean, you pass once, are you going to go for, you know, another possession with a pass, or are you just going to run it? I mean, they've been having success all night. I would think they just run it right here, but I don't really know.
Not much of a gain.
I think the one thing that you don't want to do for Cortland is give up any funny business around the punt, you know, where snap goes into the end zone and someone scores a quick 7, but you know, I don't know. Things can happen when you get too close to your own goal line. They're still only on the 17. And I think if I'm the coach, I'm just a little bit nervous. I mean, you still got the game under control, but I've seen a lot of things happen in high school sports. Red Raiders are unable to contain it, and add to the nervousness. That was number 29, Brett Davenport, plowing ahead for just under 10 yards.
Davenport, a returning letterman for the Bulldogs.
Robert Jackson making a tackle. We haven't called his name all night. Another senior who's been putting in a lot of time for the Red Raiders. You know, who's put in time from his freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year.
Looking further down the Raiders' schedule, as I said earlier, we have Wycliffe next week and Riverside. Both those games are away. And then we play Madison, followed by Gilmore, Lakeside, Geneva, Conneaut, Jefferson, and Edgewood. Gilmore will be an interesting game to watch. They were at least in the playoffs last year for Division 5. So obviously a team that's very small. From their school is very small, but obviously very talented.
Yeah, they're one of the top ones for Division 5, obviously. Meanwhile, on the field, there was a measurement, of course, and it is a first down now for Cortland Lakeview. Shotgun rolls out right. Looking to pass, he's going to keep it. He runs upfield. He has a big gain.
And finally steps out of bounds.
And a penalty is called in the play towards the sideline, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a late hit. They did knock him out of bounds. It is an illegal block against Cortland Lakeview. A hold, so they'll march them back 10 yards. And time will continue to tick. 6:53. First and second and 9 for Cortland Lakeview. So after the big gain, it'll be mostly negated. 6:32 now, and the Raiders still down 14-0. Cortland controlling the game, and they hand off to Kohuth, who plows ahead for 3 or 4 yards. 3rd down and 5 now. .548 now remains in the game. 14-0, still in favor of Cortland. They're driving. They hand off to number 29. That's Brett Davenport. No gain on the play.
Davenport, the ball carrier. Tackle by number 25, Robert Jackson.
It will be a 3rd down. I'm sorry, I assessed a down for the run on the penalty, and in fact, there was no down assessed for the penalty. They just took him back to the 10 yards. So it's 3rd down and 4 now. 5:06 remains on the clock. I'm sorry about that mistake. And it's 14-0 still.
Whistle blown.
Flag in the play.
So encroachment on the defense, and that'll be a 1st down for Cortland Lakeview.
The coaching staff for the Red Raiders consists of Mr. Dominic Lodica, head coach John Buskirk, Mr. Rob Magruder. New to the coaching staff this year, Mr. Seth Hartman, who spent some time at Geneva coaching, Mr. Ken Hearn, and Dave Farron.
On the field, Cortland plowed ahead for another 5-yard gain. So we'll call it 2nd and 5 now. 4:18, but there's another flag on the play. And it will be against the Raiders. I didn't see the indication of what it was. Oh. Apparently they did something that the refs didn't like. That's a personal foul. I didn't really see anything happen, but again, I don't know. 4 minutes now. Kohuth Bulls ahead for another 12-yard gain, driving on the Red Raiders. They're just Red Raiders trying to stay tenacious right here, just finish out strong. Maybe make something happen, you never know.
Clock stopped with 3:48 left.
Red Raiders will just try and finish out strong, do the best that they can do. And Cortland Lakeview, I'm sure their aims are, to play hard, finish out strong, and not get anybody injured. As I'm sure both teams, you don't really think about that thing, but kind of in the back of your mind, you're always hoping that at a point like this, no one really gets in. You don't ever want anyone to get injured, but especially at a time like this, it'd just be kind of foolish. Play will resume. 3:48 is on the clock. Cortland Lakeview is on the 31-yard line of the Harvey Red Raiders. Handoff went to Brett Davenport. Not much gain right there. Second down and 10. Nate Dent and Ian King getting credit for the tackle. And our band is still going strong. I think you might be picking that up a little bit off of our crowd mic. A lot of kids enthusiastic about this year. I think they're excited about the direction the band's going in. From what I hear, they're very excited about this marching band this year.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Vasquez has brought a lot of new energy into the band. Doesn't have a very big band this year, but with the way these guys are talking, I have a feeling that a lot more people are going to be sticking with it into the high school years, and maybe even a few more people will be joining. And as the years progress, I'm sure that the band will grow in size.
It's now 3rd down and 7 as time continues to tick. 2:36 now. Remains in the game. And a lot of seniors, from last year have come out to this game as well. A lot of kids that haven't left yet, but come into their last game for a while. And so, I don't know, if you haven't been able to come to this game, just kind of set the atmosphere for you. There's a lot of guys that will be going off to college pretty soon, and it's kind of fun to just see them all around here, at least for this one game.
Tackle by number 31, Nate Dent, and number 51, Ryan Mannering. Still game will bring up 4th down and 7.
151 remains in this game. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion as to what is going to happen.
I would have to agree with you there. Two touchdowns in just over a minute and a half. Not impossible, but highly, highly unlikely.
As a player, though, I think you always, the attitude you always want to have is
that it's not over until
it's not over yet. Physically, they still can score 2 touchdowns in this amount of time. So, at least we can be encouraged if they come out and make a strong stop and make something happen. Band seems to just get stronger as the night goes on, Tyler, I gotta say.
Yeah. High energy going on over there.
Yeah, they're small but mighty. Or something like that.
I think that fits.
And the Red Raiders march back onto the field. Cortland Lakeview still in their huddle. Play is getting ready to resume though. Fans still sticking around. A couple people are leaving, but we still got a lot of support here for the Red Raiders down to the very end.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many people are still here. When games get to this point, you tend to see a lot of people heading towards the parking lot. There are a few people who are headed out to the cars, but by and large, the attendance is still going very strong.
Like you said, Tyler, this is the place to be.
Yep.
Meanwhile, back on the field, there was a shotgun formation. Not enough for the first down for Cortland Lakeview. So the Raiders will get the first down and 10 on their own 27-yard line. One last chance to maybe score, break something big open, and bring the score to 14-7. Raiders 3 wide receivers out right. Mockner rolling right, looking right. He's going to scramble. He's sacked.
Hit again. Is that 4th or 5th time tonight?
I think that's the 5th.
Tackle by number 40, Corey Bradley.
Of course, that's Corey Bradley on the tackle. Time continues to tick down, 1:10. Mockner's looking at 3 wide receivers out right. Tyrell Hurd goes out left. And Harvey takes a timeout with a minute remaining on the clock. So trying to look at this positively, I think the message the Raiders are sending with that timeout is we're not satisfied.
Right.
We're going to try and
Yeah,
do a little
definitely.
bit more.
Whereas where it seems that it would be a point where you're down 14-0 with just a minute left in the game, a lot of teams would maybe roll over and just quit. But Coach Buzzkirk, he's not that kind of guy. He won't let his team be that kind of team, and they'll empty the tank.
I got to be honest with you, when I'm watching Monday Night Football and there's 1 minute left in the game and a team will not just call it quits, inside my head I'm thinking just roll over and die. But you really never want to accept that out of a team, and especially in high school sports. I guess it's good that the Raiders are still trying to get something going. And a discombobulated start, but no flag call in. Mockner just runs it up the field. Gain of 6. 3rd down and 6 now. Time is winding down. Raiders will go to a hurry-up offense, see what Mockner can do. He spikes the ball, so we'll have a 4th down.
39.5 seconds on the clock.
I do believe the Raiders have one more timeout left, but we don't really have a stat for that.
No.
So. Our statistics department, Casey Kamyati, is keeping track of a lot, but he cannot do everything.
That's right.
We're not showing the timeouts on the scoreboard. Mockner rolls left, finds David Alston, who falls down. Clock isn't running, so that's a little bit of a boon for the Red Raiders. These things can tend to happen in high school sports, and the clock finally starts. Just a play late. Mockner under center. Pulls out right. Drops back, excuse me. And Alex Delamont slipped and fell down. John Beal almost came up with the interception.
Yeah. That's what I couldn't tell if he did indeed pick it off, but he couldn't haul it in.
21.9 seconds now. Raiders down 14-0, looking to score.
2nd and 10.
And I think we might just see him take a couple shots at the end zone right here.
Ball on Cortland's 41. I'm sorry, on their own 41.
Deep post, you think? Raiders stay short. Pass interference, yes, it will be called. Raiders will have to hurry up because they'll have 14.5 seconds if they want to try and put one in the end zone. Time will start as soon as the ball is placed. Alex Delamont was hit, so pass interference will be called. Looks like probably around the 45-yard line.
Remains 2nd and 10.
No, it'll be a 1st down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Red Raiders getting up to the line quick. Oh no, they're going to huddle up. And a little bit of hometown help right here. The clock hasn't started yet. Mockner rolling left, he's sacked. 8 seconds left in the game. 7, 5, 4, And time will wind down on the first game of the Raiders season. The final score is Portland Lakeview Bulldogs 14, your Harvey Red Raiders 0.
Not a whole lot to say about this game. Red Raiders just had problems in several areas. Couldn't really move the ball downfield without turning the ball over, be it on downs or interceptions. You know, it could be any number of reasons. Looking at the stats, really the outstanding performances. Nate Dent ran for 14 yards. Mockner ended up passing for 70 yards with seven completions. Let's look. Ryan Mannery finished with 5 tackles. Tyrell Hurd finished with 6. John Rowan and Matt Hill both finished with 7. And that's really the standouts for tonight's game. We're going to call it a night here at Jack Britt Memorial Stadium. Next week the team travels to Wycliffe. We might be bringing you that game, weather permitting.
Raiders will try and improve and maybe come away with a win.
That's it for tonight. I'm Tyler Kremyati.
And I'm Logan Repko.
Thanks for watching.